Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Rockman Power Hour, a podcast where we talk to very interesting people about interesting stuff in the world of pop culture. And this week, we've got a literal icon in music. This guy's changed music twice with both of his bands. First with Joy Division, and then again with New Order. And I'm talking about Peter Hook, bass player extraordinaire from Joy Division and New Order. We're going to have him on the show. But before we get too far, I want to thank our sponsor, Heartbeat Hot Sauce. They are an incredible hot sauce company out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. If you check them out at heartbeathotsauce.com and you use my promo code Rockman20, you will save 20% off your entire order. Now, let me bring in our co-host and the man who helps make everything look and sound pretty. And that's a big job when it comes to me. Ryan Stick is with us in the house. What's going on, Ryan?
I'm going good, man. I feel like listening to this dude's music these days. You know what I mean? It's good.
Ryan's, but you've had a rough patch, and I'm glad that you're here today. I know it's a big. Ryan lost his dog, and being someone who has gone through that, losing my dog, it's the worst feeling in the world. It's awful, and I I've checked in on you over the last couple of days. I've messaged you, and I realize sometimes you just need to be left alone with this kind of stuff, because it's I've never cried so much as when my dog was put down. It was the worst ever. I think I cried more than when my dad passed away, which is nuts. But so I feel your pain. That's all I can say.
I'm glad we're talking about Joy Division today, because our next episode is Classless Act. So it'd be like, yeah, my dog died, so time to party, dude.
Right, like, exactly.
It wouldn't make any sense at all. So I would like to publicly thank Joy Division for making sad cool, because definitely am feeling this right now. And it's, I saw what you went through. I also, had a special relationship with Yujo that had passed on. The first time I ever saw your gigantor dog, I immediately laid on the floor next to him. And, I thought he was like just some kids in a dog suit. He was so big.
Yeah.
And our dogs got to hang out once or twice. I'm actually going to put a photo here. Why not? Let's immortalize them. Look at these two champions.
Nice. Yeah. Look at that. Oh,
yeah.
Man. So cute.
Yeah.
Adorable.
They kind of look like they're trying to rob Kevin McAllister in their height differences, but
Yeah, it's crazy when you think how they're such companions, and they're so important to us, and we don't realize that they're not there long enough. They're angels on earth, and they're not there long enough. But it's, I remember when Kevin Smith lost his dog, and he wrote this beautiful piece on how they're there to teach us, and it's so true. I mean, I'm sure you can attest to the fact that Fox probably taught you so much, and Ijo did. He taught me so much. So my condolences to both you and Mel. It's awful. It's a horrible.
Thanks,
horrible
man.
feeling,
I appreciate that.
But yes, you could not ask for a better segue into someone who created Joy Division, which are, they're a band that's been known to delve in the realm of sad and dark, definitely. And but this guy is not sad and dark. Peter Hook is one of the most vibrant guys that you'll ever meet. He's filled with passion. 66 years old and still going strong. And it was just an absolute pleasure to talk to him. I have his bass that hangs in my room, as you know, that's signed to me. It says "Dance, Dance, Dance" to the radio. He signed that to me in 2000.
I don't see your bedroom that often, Jason, believe it or not.
It's not my bedroom. It's in my living room. I meant to say my living room. But if you are lucky enough to see my bedroom, you know it hangs prominently.
A lot of bass playing music is happening in Jason's bedroom.
Boom, boom, boom. Anyways, Peter Hook's iconic bass player, great human being, and we had a chance to talk to him. So why don't we throw to that right now? Here's Peter Hook on the Rockman Power Hour. There he is.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm all right.
Do you remember me?
I do. How are you doing?
I'm good. Do you remember
Very
this?
neat and tidy, your office. Oh, wow.
We did that contest in Montreal about 10 years ago.
Yeah, blimey, was it that long?
It was a while back. It was when you first started doing these shows.
Yeah, that scares you, doesn't it?
Not really. I'm actually glad we're actually able to talk today for a bit at length.
So am I, mate. I've just been to a funeral.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Provider of the Happy Mondays.
Yeah, I saw that. That's awful.
And there was Ian McCulloch, Sean Ryder, Ian Brown, Clint Boone, so many people from so many groups in Manchester.
Can imagine.
And I could see the thought on everyone's mind was, wow, this could be me.
Yeah.
It was definitely like the ghost of Christmas future. Yeah, it was really weird. Very.
Was it natural causes or was it?
Well, a heart attack.
Okay.
God knows, but yeah. It does make you feel blessed.
It does. And, you know,
that way, yeah.
Being someone who just celebrated 30 years sobriety, I'm very blessed. Because I sobered up at 21. I got my act together fairly young, and here I am, 51, and grateful to be sober and grateful to be.
I lasted a lot longer after you, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so. But you've been. I think you haven't had a drink in a little while too, eh?
No, I was 15 years sober.
Okay.
Maybe 16. Now I drink very moderately. And,
you've figured out a way to keep it in check. No,
I'm hoping I've figured out a way. But yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely the best decision I ever made.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt. And yeah, no, it's good. You know, it's a very, very personal journey.
110%. And you can tell somebody till they're blue in the face, but until they realize it themselves, and but
you really do have to respect everybody's opinion on it.
Yep.
And everybody's thought. So yeah, it's whatever suits you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I know it works for me, but I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. There's no when it comes to that kind of stuff, there's no gray zone. It's just,
well, I mean, I know how you feel.
Yeah.
But well done. Congratulations.
Anyways, we're here to talk about some fun stuff. You're coming back to Montreal, and you're bringing this show back, which I got to see. I think for the first time was in 2011, and this is a great show, and it speaks volumes because you've been able to do this for over a decade. This Peter Hook and the Light show, this band, it's, to me, and this is no slight on anyone. I've seen your other mates, and I've seen you, and there's an energy that when you're not there, it just isn't there, and when you're there, it's there. So I
it's very kind of you to say,
but it's the truth, and it's the truth. And I'm a big fan of your work, and I'm a big fan of both New Order and Joy Division. So for me to stand back and say that with a biased opinion, it's the truth. And I've spoken to many people that feel the same way. You're the rock, you're the heart, you're the soul of that band in terms of the driving force. You always have been. So when you're not there, it just doesn't. It's not the same. So I love these shows because you give people a chance to see this music being played, as far as I'm concerned, with the right aggression. Like there's just certain things about this music that needs to be played the
I
right
will
way.
probably be try and be kind.
Okay.
And say that it's the way the music was written.
Yeah.
And interestingly, as we were saying before about respecting people's journeys and people's growths, some people do change.
Yeah, definitely.
And their tastes change, their opinions change. And that's probably why so many bands split up.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be said. So, whether you're going to respect that, I mean, I do, or I did respect the others. What I didn't respect was the way that they did it.
Yeah.
The way that they've acted since. So I'm afraid there's no respect from that point of view. But no, I mean, we started in 2010, quite selfishly for me, actually, because I'd been DJing for a while after New Order split up in 2007. And it's great being paid to play other people's music.
Yeah.
Well, I was desperate to do my own. I sort of had an ill-fated bromance with Freebase, with Andy Rourke and Manny from the Stone Roses. That didn't work out. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. So I was scratching my head, if so to speak. So the thing is that it was funny because it was Bobby Gillespie, and at the funeral today, Alan McGee from Creation was talking about how Bobby Gillespie was inspired by the Happy Mondays.
Right.
And in turn, I was inspired by Bobby Gillespie. Quite a simple statement that he made in an interview, which was that the LPs that they'd written, he felt now that they'd picked the wrong songs to play, and they should be playing the other ones they left behind.
Yeah.
Again, it's that thing about your taste changing.
Sure.
So, and I thought, wow, that's weird, because that's what it was like in Joy Division with us. When we wrote a new song, we sort of everyone was falling off the end.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, it's weird that how your taste changed. And then I thought, wouldn't it be great to celebrate the LP? A very important thing in my life, a long player record. Always has been, ever since I started listening to music and picked up my first long player, which was 99p, and it was the Age of Atlantic sampler.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin on, Loudon Wainwright, John Prine, all the bands that were on Atlantic Records.
Right.
So the thing is the magic I felt when I played that. Cactus was another band on it that I discovered at that time through that 99p sampler. I wanted to capture the magic of what Joy Division went through with that, because I was aware that not many people had heard Joy Division live.
Yeah.
Hardly any outside of very short space in Europe. So the thing is that they'd only heard the records. Martin Hannett, our producer, made such an impact with his take on our music that you weren't only celebrating Joy Division with a record, you were celebrating his expertise and vision as well. So I thought, oh, that's good. That's two things. Also, it stopped me impersonating the group, because that is the last thing I want to do. I'll leave that to other people who shall not be named. So the thing is that I thought, great, play the LPs in full as they sound as much as you possibly can. And that's where the idea came from. Now, it always struck me, as soon as New Order split up, it struck me that as New Order, we had never celebrated anything to do with Joy Division.
Right.
Not a year, not 10 years, not 29 years. And I thought, you know what? I'm fucked if I'm going to let it be 30. To celebrate Ian's life and his legacy, I thought, it felt very, very important to me at that point. And that was what we did in 2010. We found Ucky another job, impersonating himself in his old group. And it was so enjoyable, because just for the fact that those songs hadn't been played for so long. And there was only a brief flirtation that New Order had with Joy Division.
Yeah.
We did it once for a cancer benefit in Manchester. And the only reason that I think New Order agreed to it was because I was going to do it anyway. Right. So I was going to do it on my own with some friends. And New Order then stepped in at the last moment. And I think that it was, a selfish move on their part, really, because they didn't want you to do it without them.
Right.
But anyway, so the thing is we had a brief flirtation with it. I thought it was fabulous. We actually played it again as New Order once at a gig in Wembley in London. And Barney hated it.
Really?
He didn't like it. He said, it's miserable. Not doing that again. And in one way, I was very disappointed. But on the other hand, I didn't understand. I understood he was singing someone else's lyrics. Maybe he didn't have the attachment to the group that I had, because he'd obviously, become the singer of New Order. I did understand it. It was fine. It was okay. It was very disappointing, shall we say, that we couldn't do both. But anyway, so there was no celebration of anything really to do with Joy Division and what Joy Division over the years had achieved. So to come back in 2010, and our first gig was 300 people. And I thought it'd be a one-off in my own club. I had to put myself on at my own club in Manchester. If I didn't have had the club, I probably wouldn't have got a gig. So the thing is that it was wonderful to find, and I thought it'd be full of fat old blokes like me,
right?
Balding blokes. No offense, mate. So it was delightful when we did play to realise that the span of ages was it was, and as we've played on, and as we've gone around the world, doing it and got better and better, and met people's expectations. There was an awful lot of negative keyboard wizardry, shall we say? I could hear the keys going, because I had three singers lined up because I wanted to play bass.
Yeah.
Three singers lined up, and they were all terrified by the amount of criticism and input, shall we say, from all these keyboard warriors on the internet. And it was Rowetta from the Happy Mondays, God bless her, who actually said to me, "Okay, stop messing about. You're going to have to do it." And I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
They felt like very big shoes to fill. They really did. And of course, the expectation from the fans was yeah, it was tremendous. And I must admit, I don't think I enjoyed a single moment of doing it for about 6 to 8 months.
Really?
I
Wow.
was so frightened, and I was so in awe of looking at Ian's words as closely as I did, and hearing Ian's talent as closely as I had to. So yeah, it was daunting. It really was. But the thing is that I found my perfect bunch of companions.
Yeah.
People who love Joy Division. It was dead easy. And by virtue of the fact that we've carried on playing New Order, and we've been through most of the New Order LPs, we do Get Ready next year.
Right.
We start that in England next year. Get ready. I am going to do what I said I was going to do.
All of them.
Every song that New Order ever wrote, recorded. So COVID kicked it, but we're back. So the thing is that we managed to pick up both fans.
Yeah.
Some crossover, some don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been very inspiring for me. It's certainly took me out of my comfort zone in many ways.
So this is the thing, right? You alluded to the fact that not many people got to see Joy Division. No, nobody. And the thing is, Joy Division has become one of these bands that's mythical, and there's a few of them. There's Joy Division, there's the Sex Pistols. There's bands that have transcended not just music, but they've also gone into fashion.
There's another one, the Doors.
The Doors, all a ton of them, and they become these icons on so many levels. So for someone to be able to go and hear, an original member perform that music in its entirety at a place where they've never heard it before, that's a treat. So I think that's the reason why these things have been able to last for over a decade, and these kinds of shows.
It sort of struck me though that personally, I used to listen to Ian, and Ian was our greatest fan. He really was. And he would sit there and we'd have a drink, and he'd be going, "Oh, wait till we get to South America. Wait till we get to America. We're going to blow them all away. We're going to be this and we're going to be that." And, we'd sit there like, wow, oh my God. He was so confident and so driven.
Yeah.
That it was, wow, this is great. He was the best cheerleader.
Yeah.
The band could ever have. So the thing is that for me, whenever I get somewhere that Ian never made with Joy Division, I always feel an immense feeling of pride for being able to go, "Ian, there's another one off the list."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the drive. I've definitely acquired his drive and his ambition, and we were celebrating 40 years. Because it's important to me, as I said to you before, to keep the celebration going. Yeah. Let's keep this celebration going. We've got something wonderful here.
Yeah.
And that was part of the reason why, when we moved into New Order, playing the albums as they should sound, we played Joy Division as a warm-up. Because I was too scared of losing them again. And then when we play Joy Division, we play New Order as a warm-up.
Right.
Vary it quite a lot for our own ends. So yeah, we are keeping the legacy, to be honest with you. I'm thinking that's what you were going to say, has been breathtaking.
Yeah.
In how it was dragged along by New Order, and then in many ways has overtaken New Order. And I think most part now is neck and neck.
Yeah.
With New Order,
which is crazy when you think of the, but you're one of these guys that's had the opportunity to do something that not a lot of people get, and you changed music twice. You changed music with New Order, and then you changed music with Joy Division, both of them. I mean, it's not many people can say that they did that. Not many people can say that they were part of projects.
Yeah, and even if I'm going to blow my own trumpet, I'd have to say that those styles of music almost became a template for
It's the truth. It's the
onward.
truth.
Yeah, if bands didn't sound like Joy Division, they'd sound like New Order. Yeah, it's quite weird though. I mean, again, yeah, it's weird. I mean, I was looking around the church hall today, looking at those people there, all united in grief and sorrow for Paul's passing. But my God, someone should have said, "But haven't we all done well?"
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we were, me and Clint, I was sat with Clint and Paul, my drummer from the Light, and we were looking around and Tony Wilson's son was there.
Wow.
Cannily looking like Tony Wilson. I mean, oh my God, I was sneaking looks and doing double takes.
Yeah.
Because he looked so much like him. I've not seen him for a while and I couldn't believe it. And then it was amazing. And it's the easiest thing in the world for me to celebrate it, because I think that most New Order fans know that it was always me that wanted to play.
Yeah.
Whereas the others were far more economical. I mean, I find it almost absolutely weirdly fascinating that me and them as New Order have worked more in our 50s and 60s than we ever did in our 30s and 40s. When we could have become millionaires and changed the world, I was not allowed to do it, and the others didn't want to do it.
Right.
And, now we're in our 50s and 60s. We're all doing it. I just like, bloody hell, how did that happen? It's so New Order.
Yeah, it's very much you guys.
It is not funny. Yeah, I mean, and bonkers. Yeah.
I got a chance to sit down with Bono and with Larry Mullen Jr. And that was a band that right off the bat said, especially Larry said, you guys are such a huge influence on his playing, and how they were, you guys were the template for them. So you think of that and it's mind blowing. So I agree with you. There's a lot of bands that came after Joy Division that kind of had some of the recipe in there. And it passed on.
It's funny remembering that day. I remember the day when we were doing Closer in Britannia Row, and Martin said, "Oh, I've just got to go off for a few minutes. Got to meet this young band doing this first single." And we were like, yeah. But I mean, in those days, we worked so quickly that literally an absence of 15 minutes felt like a day, because you were young.
Yeah.
And he was missing for quite a while. And Ian was going, "You go and get him, okay, go and get him." And Barney was going, "Okay, go and get him." And I was going, "Right, I'll go and get him." So anyway, I stormed in the office where he was sat with this young band and said, Martin, are you?" And the young band went like that. Oh, they were 15 years old each. It was U2. They were getting Martin to do 11 o'clock TikTok.
Wow.
It's their first single. And people have spoken to Bono about it. And I mean, all I did was go in and tell him to come back to us. Get your ass in here. We need to work. We're on it. And so it's quite odd. The hell of a lot of history. Like I said to you before about the gathering today, that amount of history and that amount of cross threads that you've got with so many people. I mean, you too, I think, have an admirable stance as a group. I must admit, I think they've written some great music.
Oh yeah,
they've written a lot that's sounded very much like New Order. I will say, but
yeah,
I take it as a compliment.
Of course.
I mean, maybe when I'm, I retire and I'm running out of money fast, I might start suing the bastard. But at the moment, lads, thank you. I mean, it was funny because the bass player, when I did the Joy Division auction, I was auctioning Joy Division's 6-string bass guitar. And the bass player sent his roadie over to look this guitar over. And then he reported back that he wouldn't buy it because it had a crack in the neck.
Okay.
The reason it had a crack in the neck was because I'd hit some punk over the head with it who was spitting at Ian Curtis. Now, from my point of view, I thought that crack was worth more than anything.
Of course.
But yeah, it certainly was a historical crack, to say the least. Yeah, but anyway, your paths cross.
Yeah.
Musically and otherwise, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm very proud of the following that we've built up. I feel that we've met people's expectations, and I do feel that people realise, as you very kindly said before, that you're doing it with passion.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it with the right amount of heart and soul, no pun intended. And yeah, it is about celebrating what was a very short period in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Joy Division were professional, I think, for less than, or maybe just 6 months.
Wow. Unbelievable. That's crazy when you think about it.
Never earned a penny from Joy Division until the group had been finished for 10 years.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely weird ride to go through. But yeah, it's weird. And it is a celebration, I must admit.
Oh yeah, being someone who's been at quite a few of the shows over the years, it is a really, really good vibe. It's a great vibe in the room.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be said that the boys, Potsy, my partner in Revenge and Monaco, Paul, the drummer, Martin's the recent addition, and also you having my bass, literally my bass being covered by my son.
Well, and I want to get to that. So, but go ahead, because I want to tell you about something. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, my son, who I dragged out of college, and his mothers have never forgiven me for it. Both of them, to join the band. He ran away to join the circus. He was all set up to be a translator at Manchester United Football Club.
Oh wow!
He spoke 5 languages.
Wow.
Yeah, he was doing really, really well,
and you pulled him out of that to go play music.
A couple of Monaco reformation gigs, and that was the end of that. So yeah, I mean, but the great thing about doing what I did in 2010, which was uncannily timing, was that he was exactly the same age, learning unknown pleasures as I was when we wrote, and that gave me some weird.
Yeah, well, and he looks like you, and he plays like you. So you look over there, and it's like, it's almost like, did he get a hologram installed here?
Yeah, I mean, and to go through the catalog and to do Closer, and he was the same age.
Yeah.
Me, and going through, and it isn't the playing of the songs, funnily enough, that brings the memories back. It's the working out of the songs.
Yeah.
Getting the little riffs together and putting them together and getting that funny moment of when it just starts to come together and it's not quite there, but they are the most deja vu moments.
I can imagine.
In those occasions, they were literally taking my breath away.
Wow.
Taking you back to how Joy Division actually did it, how the people did it. But yeah, I mean, we did a few gigs with Billy Corgan singing on, and then the bastard nicked it.
So this is what I was going to say. So here I am. I go to see the Smashing Pumpkins. They are doing this huge tour this summer, this fall actually. I'm excited about with Jane's Addiction. But a few years back, they did a great retrospective tour where they played their stuff from beginning to end, which I thought was brilliant, because in the past, Billy's been known to just go and play the new music and not play any old stuff.
Yeah, I know.
So he goes on this last tour and plays a 3-hour show from Gish all the way to the newest song. And I look on stage, I'm like, Jesus, that looks like, and it was. And I was like, what? So I was so happy for your son, because, I'm sure it's validation for him to get asked to play with the Smashing Pumpkins as well.
Oh my God, you must be joking. You know what? This, as a parent, I didn't think he'd go.
Really?
Yeah, and you couldn't stop him. He was out of there, like Usain Bolt, mate. Yeah, I said, "Where's he gone?" He said, "He's at the airport waiting already." You know what I mean? But no, I mean, it's immensely proud of me.
I'm sure
that my son is actually playing to 20 times bigger gigs than I am. The bastards. But yeah, no, he's a great bass player.
He's a great bass player, and the thing is, you can tell. I mean, obviously, I know you have a relationship with Billy. I know he played with you guys at one point on a tour way back in the day.
Long relationship.
Yeah. So, and I know he's a big fan, but I also know from what I know about Billy Corgan, he's not going to have a slouch playing in his band. I mean, you've got to have chops.
No, I know. I mean, judging by his employment record for fellow musicians, is only like Mark E. Smith and the Fall. Yeah, he's had that many, and he's ruthless, isn't he? I believe.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. No, I was, as a father, I was immensely proud, and yeah, I mean, Jack can play very, very much like me, but he approaches it differently. He's actually more what's the word? He's more varied than I am.
Okay, right.
I mean, when I got offered the job as Killing Joke's bass player, right, I had to say to Jazz and Geordie, "I'm sorry, mate, I can't play that. I can't play like that.
Yeah,
I just couldn't do it. Not for any reason, whether it was bad, good, or anything. I just can't pick up other people's riffs. I can't do it." And when I was fifth in line for the Rolling Stones, right, as I heard from, is it Doug Wimbush, who actually got the gig? I think he was fourth and got it, thank God.
Okay.
I would have had to say to Mick Jagger, if Mick Jagger had said to me, "Play Satisfaction," I would have had to give him a gun and go, "Just pull that trigger, mate," because I ain't playing that. Not a chance. I'm tone deaf in that respect, but Jack isn't.
Right.
Jack is amazing, and I must admit that it's been very handy for him teaching me my riffs. It's funny how the parents, the children become the parents.
Yeah.
In many ways. So yeah, no, it's been good, and it's been nice. It's nice for me to go and see the Pumpkins and see Billy. Yeah, he's done. I mean, the history is incredible. I remember Joe Shanahan, who runs Metro in Chicago, bringing a young man along to have dinner with us on our second tour of Chicago, and this kid was about 12, 11, maybe, something like that, 12, and he was sat there. He was, dumbstruck, and we were all a bit cocky and having a laugh, drinking and all this. And this guy was sat there, and Joe actually got round to say, and this is my friend Billy. He's going to be forming a group. And we were like, "Oh, how you, son? Yeah, pat him on the head and all that lot." And the next time I saw him, he was headlining the gig in Manchester as the Smashing Pumpkins. I was
Crazy.
like, "Wow, he was the kid that had dinner with us." Massive fan, So it's really odd that your lives, again, as we said before, can be so close.
Yeah.
In so many ways. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, I have to say, I'm still enjoying it a great deal. Probably the only thing I'm not looking forward to, because of the way the travel hell is over here, is throwing myself at the ripe old age of 66 into a different airport every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm hoping that we have good fortune in that regard, to say the least.
You're going to be here on August 13th. It's a pretty lengthy North American tour. And so you'd mentioned that there's plans to play further records, and your commitment to playing the entire catalog is there. Have you ever thought what you would do after that?
Well, I suppose in the Joy Division way, we've waited 10 years and we've just decided to do it again. I mean, it's a really odd situation to be in, and yet it's not odd, because every time I go and play, all I see are the beaming faces of people who love this bloody music just as much as me, and get together, once every 10 years to hear it. And it's fantastic. And I suppose in an odd way, my God, I say I can't imagine being 76 and doing it. but I wouldn't be the first, would I?
No, you would not. You
I
would
mean,
not.
now it is like maybe Elon Musk or whatever should be investigating people in groups, because they seem to, manage to stay very young in their occupation. Yeah, it's almost quite spooky, isn't it? Maybe it's that pact with the devil, you see.
Yeah. Listen, I was at a festival this past weekend in Montreal, and there was a young guy there who had a Power Corruption and Lies t-shirt on, which,
Oh, wow.
again, another, the album cover's behind me. It's another one of those iconic images that has been appropriate. Fashion's grabbed it. It's everywhere, like, like the Joy Division album cover. And I said to him, I said, "Oh, are you a big fan?" He goes, "Oh man." It goes, I just discovered them a while back. He goes, "They're just incredible." And I said, "Well, I'm talking to the bass player on next week." And he was like, "What?" And I told him, you should really come check the show out, and he had no idea. And I said, "Man, this is a chance for you to see this music played, the right way." And he immediately messaged me 2 days later, and he goes, "I picked up a ticket." And he was
Oh,
excited.
good. Well, but by God, you're handy to have, aren't you?
No, but I mean, it just
Say the
shows you
least.
that a lot of it is it's that education sometimes for
I
people.
hope you've not been doing the same and negating the ticket sales for New Order and Pet Shop Boys.
No, because I do have a respect for all of you guys. I really, really do. And I also understand
Oh
personalities,
man, I was hoping it was the other way.
but no, I don't. I think, and what I was going to say, you at the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned how um, nobody really looked back on the anniversaries at all. And
No.
do you ever think maybe they didn't look back on the anniversaries because it was too painful?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, the
Do
thing is,
you think, because you guys did go through a pretty traumatic experience, right?
yes,
So maybe
definitely.
it's the kind of thing where you just forge on. I mean, I'm just talking for you, maybe with a bit of reflection and looking back on it, with a bit of time elapsed. Maybe it was just everybody's way of coping with it.
Well, possibly, but don't
Yeah.
forget the sort of trauma that we went through with the hacienda, and then
Yeah.
the trauma that we went through being New Order was neck and neck with Ian's death, as a tragedy. So yeah, I mean, we have, Tony Wilson said the most amazing thing to me when I was moaning yet again in '92 or '93 when Factory were going bankrupt. And I was saying, oh my God, the bloody trouble we've had all the way from 1978 to now. And he said, okay, he said, look on the bright side. We've kept you miserable. And because of that, you've made great records.
Yeah. I
And
guess
literally,
it's one way to look at it. Yeah.
there was no argument, because I think there's one thing that we do know is that happy musicians generally, we'd have to say, don't make
They make shit music.
yes, yeah. So there you go. I mean, I learned something then, that it was all for a purpose. And to be honest, again, bringing it back today, when I was stood with all those people that I've known since, a lot of them since 1978, and watched our careers go and move, and helped the Stone Roses when I did their first single, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't swap. Well, I'd love Ian to be here. That's
Yeah.
probably about the only thing I would swap. But all the other experiences, I think, were vital, as you know, probably in life, for making you the person that you are now.
Yeah. I
No,
couldn't agree more.
that's the strangest thing in the world. You have to. I found a way in 2007 to like myself,
Mm.
because I didn't like myself. I was living a lie. I felt that we were shortchanging our fans, etc., etc., and I couldn't handle it. And the happiest I became was dumping the thing that was most important to me, pretty much the same way when I had to give up drinking and drugs.
Right.
I felt they were the most important things in my life, when really they weren't. And you do have to go through these experiences, because they make you the person that you are.
110%.
Simple as that.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I really,
You're
really
welcome,
appreciate
my
it.
friend. Give us a wave.
Yeah.
We're
And I will
COVID free, and trying to make sure we finish the tour from top to bottom. So we won't be able to, grin or grip or say hello as much as certainly as I'd like. But yeah, give us a wave.
110%. We'll be there, and continued success, and keep being you.
Oh, thank you. And you take care of yourself.
Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Joy Division's been around my whole life. I've always heard their songs and I've always heard the name, but I really first connected with them when I saw that movie Control.
Yeah.
About them.
Yeah.
And and then I started, going further and further, and I kind of realized, I'm like, the song Dead Souls was covered by Nine Inch Nails in the Crow soundtrack, and that was up until that point my favorite Nine Inch Nails song, not realizing it was a cover. And then at Ottawa Comic-Con years ago, I met James O'Barr, who created the Crow, and he said he listened to a lot of Joy Division when making the original Crow graphic novel, like a lot of Joy Division. And he had asked Trent Reznor, who was a friend of his, to cover that song.
Wow.
And Trent said, there's two things you don't do. You don't cover the Beatles. You don't cover Joy Division. So James O'Barr, the creator of the Crow, actually had to, lightly strong arm his buddy Trent Reznor into recording that song. When I heard that, Jason, my teenage goth brain melted on sight, kind of like the end of Evil Dead when the book gets destroyed. Yeah. And a little bit of Alex from Clockwork Orange staring up the screen. My consciousness could not handle all that cool Joy Division, Nine Inch Nails, and the Crow all coinciding and dueling in my brain at once. It was great.
It's crazy.
Yeah, what I love about Peter's playing is that, as a young guy growing up playing bass and feeling bass player inadequacy, where, you're always trying to put in more notes, it just kind of seemed like Peter's lines, every line was necessary. It always seemed like the bass was in the forefront, but not in a please notice me type of way. He really filled the wall of Joy Division.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was just incredible, especially considering Level Tear Us Apart, I think, doesn't have any guitar, barely has any guitar in it. It's really bass and keyboard. So
a lot. And he played the bass like a lead guitar. I mean, he was the star of that band. He always was the star of that band, especially from the live aspect, and I think it was because he was playing a bass that had such a prominent part in the music. I mean, it's at the forefront of the mix. It's always so, and some of the most memorable musical lines in New Order and Joy Division music are the bass lines. So great guy, really pleasure to chat with him, and I'm really looking forward to the show that's going to be happening this coming Saturday in Montreal. He's playing Club Soda, and he's going to be doing a huge tour all over North America. So if you get a chance to see Peter Hook and the Light, do yourself a favor and go check them out. I also want to give a big shout out to our friends at Studio House Designs, always making us look fresh. You are wearing the Alien shirt, which I wore when I was in San Diego Comic-Con. I got so many compliments on that shirt, and I'm rocking the Pulp Fiction, which is a great shirt as well. So go check them out.
I wore this shirt in my bathroom earlier. It's not as prestigious as San Diego Comic-Con, but
oh, whatever. I'm just saying,
was some fanfare.
There was an Alien installation there, and I took a picture next to it, and a lot of people made a lot of noise. So whatever, it looks good in your bathroom as well. And our thanks also to Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Check them out. I'm holding up the blueberry habanero, and this one is wonderful, out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. HeartbeatHotSauce.com, and if you use our promo code Rockman20 right down there, you will get 20% off your entire hot sauce order. So check them out, Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Thanks to my co-host Ryan Stick. Thanks to our producer Julia Kajerski. And next week on the show, we are going to have Classless Act, which were this band absolutely rocks. They're on tour right now with Motley Crue and with Def Leppard, and they're tearing stages up across North America. So we're really looking forward to chatting with them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your friends all about this podcast if you're enjoying it. We'll see you next week.